but that's fine. It's his heel.
All right. It is Triple Play Fantasy. It is the playoffs. We are ready to help you advance. We are ready to help you win some money. Let's get started. We'll be right back after this quick introduction. Hey everyone, this is your host Zach at FF Chalupa Batman. How's everyone doing tonight? We have Alex at Alex Mateo 94, as well as always Doc at Trip Play Fantasy. Good evening, gentlemen. We're here for the playoffs.
It's playoffs, baby.
Week 15.
This is always one of the most stressful weeks of the season, knowing that your Sundays can have less relevance moving forward.
And also less stress. Bittersweet.
Don't worry. We have a game.
Yeah, don't talk like that. We're in it for the stress.
Yeah, it's all about fantasy football. We have a Thursday night game. We have 3 Saturday games, all on NFL Network. Wonderful. And we got some Sunday games, and we got another Monday night football game. So we got 4 days of football this week. So bring in the holidays here. Week after that's Christmas. We got, I think, more Saturday games after that. Should be a good time. I mean, before we get started, though, I am wearing my Cowboys jersey. Yeah, a little throwback to Tony Romo with the Reebok. I think, Alex, you wanted to say something about the Cowboys real quick.
Oh, man. It has been an extremely rough 2 weeks for me on this show, having to eat crow. I was hoping one of you guys would be like, yeah, the Eagles this, Eagles that. But it's just me having to pipe up the 2 biggest rivals. Once again, Eagles outcoached top to bottom. That offense in Dallas is looking good, and I don't want to play them in the playoffs. They're looking really crisp right now. So the 2 seed almost feels like the better long-term outcome here for us.
So the one thing about the Eagles, they just don't look as dynamic.
Not at
Maybe
all.
they're banged up, they're injured. So much of their success comes from stopping one play because they get in really good field position. And if they're not able to get as far down the field, or they're not moving the ball as quickly, it's not like they were out scheming people. They were better at one play that is good in specifically short yardage when you're in favorable scoring position.
Yeah. And this year specifically compared to last, the offense is just extremely vanilla. No pre-snap motion, nothing like that. They're just relying on, hey, our guys are supposed to be bigger, stronger, and faster than you, and we're just going to beat you at the line. But when you're not winning at the line, these slow developing pass plays are just brutal.
I mean, it's almost like your offensive and defensive coordinators left last year.
Two rookie coordinators. And honestly, it looks like Steichen had more of a role with Philly's success than what's been led on to believe this year. Herbert had his best year with Steichen. Jalen Hurts obviously had his best year. And look at what the Colts are still doing. They're still relevant and they're still competing after losing their quarterback with Steichen once again at the helm. So it's not looking great for the Birds right now, but got 4 games left. They still control their own destiny. So
you guys will be okay. Well, we'll put you out of your misery. I appreciate you saying some nice things about the Cowboys. Anybody out there listening, we appreciate you guys tuning in, watching. If you have any questions, hop on over to the YouTube link on there and ask your questions on there. Best way for us to answer your questions. And let's see. Our buddy Jordan, Dallas deserves credit for that O-line and Dak actually learning how to play on the offense. Hey, Dak's been pretty good for a few years now. So
he has been.
And that offensive line's been good for a while. They just were banged up the last couple of years. But with that, let's go into our takeaways. Doc, what's your one takeaway from Week 14?
My takeaway, and this is from experiencing myself, losing Justin Herbert, and a good chance CJ Stroud doesn't play, nor would you risk playing him this week. And you might have to go with a Jake Browning, Nick Mullins, a Tommy DeVito. someone like that that's on the free agency for winning your playoff game. So just, I mean, how many times have I preached about having multiple quarterbacks, and that same thing can still happen, losing 2 in 1 week.
Yeah.
Just to be as prepared for the playoffs as you can be, because it is a wild game with an insane amount of outcomes.
Yeah,
How about you, Alex? What's your
sleep
takeaway?
on Tommy Cutlets, though. He's been outscoring Mahomes since week 10. He's averaging more points per game. Yes, small sample size, but still.
I am guilty of not watching a lot of him.
They're amazing.
But I from a fantasy perspective,
he's been a lot better than anticipated.
Okay.
I think he's averaging almost 17 a game right now. I think it was like 16.9 for the last 5 weeks.
He's on the streamer category.
Yeah, absolutely.
You might have a choice depending on who you lost going into this week. But what's your takeaway, Alex, from week 14?
Right now, it looks like, especially with Christian Watson out, Jaden Reed is the only viable piece on the skill position side for Green Bay. In 3 of the last 4 games, he's seen at least 9 opportunities. This is including rush attempts. 4 of those last 5 games, he's been at least a wide receiver 2 or better, and he has 3 wide receiver 1 weeks in that span. Now, he's not the same as Debo, but they're trying to get him involved in every facet of the game to use him as their Wisconsin Debo. And that's something you want going in the playoffs. You want a flex play for a guy who will see a lot of opportunities and manufactured ones for him too, so the guaranteed touches.
I forgot who it was, and maybe you guys will know. He put a video on Twitter, and yesterday he's like, I guarantee Jaden Reed will get a rushing touchdown. So
it was
I saw it too
him,
when I'm blanking.
Rotobuzz guy is his handle. I'm so upset that I'm not thinking of his name for Fantasy Alarm. It's gonna bug me because I should know who he is because I've done stuff with him.
It'll come. You'll remember it at like 2 in the morning, and then just send it to
Zach, it's supposed to be your turn to have a takeaway. Is your takeaway?
I'll give a takeaway as I'm finding this because it's gonna bother me.
Is your takeaway gonna be to have a better memory?
Oh, I wish. Oh, Howard Bender. There we go. There it is. Howard Bender. Fantastic. Yeah. No. Yeah. Hopefully he played that bet because he would have won some money. But yeah, my takeaway. It was week 14. It was the last week before getting the playoffs. So many people were fighting for that last spot or for a few spots, or they had a chance. So I put out a tweet this morning. Basically, just tell me about your bad beats or show me. Wow. Talk about a depressing thread. If you want a good laugh, or if you want to commiserate in the misery, if you had some bad beats, go check out my tweet. And man, there's so many people lost by less than a point, or they were 1 play away. Like it was 1 play last night ended it for them. So if you lost, I'm sorry. Better luck next year. This is why I like to play more than 1 league. Just for the simple fact. Yeah,
absolutely.
But if you did lose, you're not in the playoffs. Keep tuning in. I hope you're watching us, but keep following football on TV. Keep following fantasy football podcasts and Twitter and all that fun stuff. That will help you for next year because so much is going to happen between now through week 18 plus the playoffs with all these players. You need to know what to expect going into next year. And so many people check out now after week 14, and you're doing yourself a disservice for next season if you actually want to win a championship. So,
absolutely.
Well said.
Very, very good point.
Preach.
That is my PSA. But good news though, no more bye weeks. Woo! We're done with that. On to bad news. Injuries. We had a lot of them this week that will affect you in the playoffs. Justin Herbert broke his other finger on his throwing hand this time. He's done. He's on IR. There's no way he's coming back this season because it makes no sense for him to come back. So, unless you're in a keeper league or a dynasty league, you can drop Herbert. CJ Stroud has a concussion. For whatever reason, a bunch of players are now coming out of concussion protocol within a week after it felt like for the first 10 weeks of the season, if you're on concussion, you're out at least a week. So who knows? But unfortunately, there's a lot of injuries on that team. So get a backup. Josh Jacobs has a knee issue. We don't know what's up with that. And I think they're playing Thursday night. Am I crazy? I want to say it's Thursday. So I wouldn't expect Jacobs. Alexander Madison has got an ankle injury. and that team's just been rough.
Yeah.
Jerome Ford has a wrist injury. We don't really have much information on that, whether he'll be okay or not. Justin Jefferson took a massive hit. He is a chest injury. He's currently day-to-day, so we're hopeful, but who knows? And then Nico Collins, talking about that C.J. Stroud injury. Nico Collins re-injured his calf that he missed a couple weeks for before, so that does not look good. And then Keenan Allen is hurt, and I just put down his charge reign. I don't know what the Chargers are going to do. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if I think they play Thursday night, so they might keep their coach for one more week and then fire him into a long week. But
there's no way he has his job going into
there's no chance. No chance.
So I think Staley's done. But I'm afraid of their older players. Of just like, I could see Eckler basically getting benched. I could see Keenan Allen getting benched, and then
that team is in shambles.
Yeah,
I mean, because Quentin Johnson, you got to see what he can do. So to me, I think they're going to look at their young players, but who knows? We still have four games for us, 5 games. So like, you never know. But I don't like the vibes coming out of the Chargers now.
Not very optimistic for a fantasy standpoint.
Nope. But we also want to help you make some money. So we're going to talk about some favorite bets or props for Week 15. Alex, who's your favorite prop or bet?
Man, weeks just keep getting worse. It's Dallas plus 2.5 in Buffalo. Yes, if it was in Dallas, they would be like a 3 or 4 point favorite. But the way they're playing right now, slinging the ball all over the field, I think that it was during the broadcast, they said it was like 5 straight games where they've put up at least 17 in the first half, and they're scoring like 40 points a game in the last 6. I don't know how you bet against Dallas unless they're going to San Fran. So kind of have to pick Dallas this week.
I like it. As a Cowboys fan, go Dallas. And Doc, what's your bet or prop of the week?
I like the Giants plus 6. The Giants have won 3 in a row, and I think the Saints winning last week kind of inflates how well they're doing because they won 28-6 against the Panthers. But before that, the Saints had lost 3 in a row, and we kind of hope Derek Carr does play because he's awful. So, I feel like plus 6. I would even tease it a little bit more. If you can get plus 6 minus 110, maybe like cover over a touchdown.
I like.
Yeah,
I mean the Saints.
What's up, Forrest?
Look rough. Yeah, the Saints are looking rough. So they have a good defense, but they have some injuries. I mean, I like it. The Giants surprisingly look decent right now. So
I think I saw they're only a game and a half out of a wild card spot.
Yeah, I don't think they'll get there, but you never know.
You got Tommy Cutler leading the way, so you never know.
Speaking of hot teams, I went with Denver plus 5.5 at Detroit. It's minus 115. Detroit is just looking rough recently, and I get it. It's at home, so you don't have to deal with the weather. Goff is best at home, but Denver's got a very solid defense. Everyone keeps thinking about the 70 points they gave up to Miami. That was so long ago. That defense has changed. They've coached them up. They got different players in there. They look stout. And honestly, if you want to get a little extra juice, go with the money line at plus 190 because I think they could beat them outright if you're feeling frisky.
Either.
Yeah.
Zach, have you been tracking your picks?
Not really, no.
Gotcha. I feel like you hit a good percentage. I like your reasoning. Yeah,
I'm doing okay. Yeah, I just sprinkle a little bit here and there, just trying to have some fun. I finally get to legally bet in Florida. It's been wonderful. But we're gonna go on to real and spectacular or fake, basically true or false. I'm gonna give you a statement. You tell me if it's true, real and spectacular, or if it's false, it's fake. The top seeds picking their opponents in the playoffs is bad fantasy football karma. Real and spectacular or fake?
Now, what do you mean by picking?
So in some leagues, if I'm like the number 1 seed, so I have my bye week. So then after this week, I get to choose who I want to play between the remaining teams.
You do? I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that in my home league, but that is an option that I've heard of leagues doing.
Okay. Where
basically the top seed gets to choose who they want.
Yeah, that is bad karma. You let it play out.
Absolutely. Yeah, no. Never pick. I don't care what league you're in. Flip a coin then if you have
where
to.
You put up a dud and they have the high scoring for the week, and then win the championship.
Let the fantasy gods take the wheel, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, it sounds like a really fun concept. I get it. That's cool. Like you get to call your shot. Don't call your shot. Yeah, just I love when I hear stories of people like, oh, I'm gonna purposely lose in the last week so that I end up with this seed, so that I get to go against this matchup. You always end up losing.
Yeah.
Like it never works out for you. Just play to win every time.
Yeah.
Don't pick who your opponent is. Just have fun. Stand by your team. But yeah, I was just curious what you guys thought. But we all three unanimously.
I think
not
all
do
three
it.
of us have we're respectable, good fantasy football etiquette.
Yeah, no, I definitely
Yeah,
believe in the fantasy football karma god. So I tried my best. I don't talk a lot of trash. I don't try to hype up anything too much. I try to just keep it real even. And then once I finally lose, then I share my anguish. And if I finally win, I celebrate. But
yeah.
I don't count any championships until I win.
Until they're won.
Yep. And my last one for this week, the Rams offensive players, so I'm talking about Stafford, Williams, Kupp, Nakua, will be playoff league winners. Real and spectacular or fake?
I think that's real. They do have through the playoffs, they have Washington, the Saints, the Giants, and then if your league goes to week 18, that's when it's a tough matchup going against San Fran. So most leagues that I'm in wraps up around week 17. So if that's the case, then they definitely have a good shot at being league winners for you.
So this pains me to say because I have a lot of money on their unders, and I teased unders of 8.5, 9.5 wins, which was way above. But they've scored 30 in their last 3, and they play at home versus the Commanders, then at home versus the Saints. That's a pretty good matchup. I hate to say it. I hope I'm wrong.
It's tough to go against it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you have any of those Rams players, you're getting the only one who might not be in your starting lineup is Stafford, depending on who your starting quarterback is. But he's got a great matchup this week.
For the quarterbacks I lost, he is the top guy I'm trying to get.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. But no, I mean, Kyron Williams he's been
playing really
play. Yeah. And then Kupp still doesn't look 100%, but he's playing well. And then Nakua's just been. I mean, to me, he should be rookie of the year. He won't be, but from a fantasy standpoint, it feels like he should be because you got him off the waiver wire.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, so we're talking about guys we like. I'm going to talk about some guys we don't like anymore. So who are you yeeting off your roster? So it's now playoff time. You can't afford to take a misstep with your selections. You can't just have some bums on your bench. You got to take advantage of every roster spot you have now going forward, playing defense against your opponents, maybe just getting some insurance players for your own team. So who are you yeeting off your roster to make room for these savvy moves? Alex, we'll start with you.
All right, now this is a tricky one because he's on the Buffalo Bills, but you can afford to move off of Gabe Davis. He wouldn't be my top priority to drop. But since week 6, he's had 5 games with 1 or less points. And then he also has 2 top 10 finishes. So it's one of those, the floor is so low that it almost makes the ceiling not worth it. And at this point in the playoffs, unless you're in a 16-team league, you're more likely than not starting.
I feel like to say Gabe Davis isn't startable in a 14-team league is pretty outlandish.
Well, yeah, at 14, 16, you're semantics. You're just trying to bust my balls because I'm an Eagles fan at this point.
It's not even the Eagles fan, but
you're just trying to bust my balls at this point. It's semantics.
I want you guys to hear his fantasy point finishes though. Going back,
league, you're not playing him.
Going back to week 8, this is half PPR, but it really doesn't make any difference. So week 8, 21.2 fantasy points. That's great. Wide receiver 10. Week 9, 0 points. Week 10, 9.6. Week 11, 0 points. Week 12, 22 points. Week 13, bye. This past week, week 14, 0 points. He's getting you points or 0 points every other week. So he's technically due against Dallas for a game, but it's
because he's consistently shown that high upside.
Consistently inconsistent.
But his highs are high. It's like a drug.
And his lows are
lows are lows.
You're essentially if he is a dud, you're essentially playing a man down in the playoffs.
He is a contrarian play that will maybe win you money. or win you a matchup.
And would
Play him in
also
DFS.
very well lose it to
Don't
you.
play him in redraft.
I
No.
would maybe start him in a 12 team, but that's just me. I like rolling the
Depends
dice.
on how
I
desperate
don't
you
mind
are.
Alex's idea. Drop him. See if someone else picks him up. Maybe starts him, and it's a grenade on their
And he
team.
has
Now
the
he could
gut.
go off, but he also
But
could
yeah,
be dead.
it's extremely high risk. The reward's just as high, but the risk is even higher. If you're in an 8, 10, or 12 team and you're trotting him out, you're likely not going to go far in the playoffs.
I hope he has a
to
good
begin with.
week.
I do too, because it'll be just the way the pattern's going. He's going to have a good week. But if you're relying on him to be a producer to get you a playoff win, you're not in the best shape that you thought you were going in.
Excluding injuries on your roster, the only way I'm playing Gabe Davis this week, and it's not even with confidence, just the only way I'm playing him. If I was at 6 seed, they just snuck into the playoffs. My team has no business being in the playoffs. I'm going against a juggernaut like 3 seed, and I just need all the potential upside. And you just hope that he goes off.
Yeah, that's okay. But like you just said, you're not playing him confidently.
Though. He's a wild.
You're not playing him confidently. Exactly, you're not playing him confidently.
Yeah, but if that's not you, just get rid of him.
No, if Stafford somehow on your waivers, would you drop Gabe Davis for Stafford this
easily?
Week, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Give him my
That's
QB
exactly
woes.
what I'm saying.
Even if I had a QB, I'd still play
drop.
Defense.
Yeah.
All right, Doc. Who are you eating?
For me, Gus Edwards. I don't think you would start him with confidence. He had 9 touchdowns in a 5-game stretch from week 7 to week 11, but he hasn't had 100 yards this season. 80 yards is his high. Are you going to bank on him to get touchdowns? I feel like they're throwing the ball more with Andrews hurt. They're trying to use more wide receivers and tight ends. Keaton Mitchell's been getting more work. He's just a roster clogger at this point. Like, bye weeks are over.
Yeah, I think
he had a hot month. He cooled off.
Fair to say as well. They're really building that offense around Zay Flowers and OBJ. They've been the focal point in the last few weeks for Baltimore for sure.
As they should be. All right, so my player is currently rostered in 90% of sleeper leagues. And I'm telling you, you can still eat him off your roster. Just go ahead and do it. It's Jordan Addison. He hasn't been startable since week 8. And now we're going to get Nick Mullins. Jefferson might play, might not play. I mean, TJ Hawkinson is a way better player than Addison is right now. How can you trust him in the playoffs? Like, just let him go. It's okay.
Yeah, I think that's also very fair. Granted, Kittle did have a record season when Stud Mullins was throwing the ball to him. But other than that, there's really...
All right, so then start TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, that's one. Like, other than especially
that offense has revolved so much this
out.
year. Like, they've had 3 different quarterbacks, different wide receivers pop off.
It's just consistently inconsistent.
Yeah, I don't want that headache anymore. Sorry, Jordan Addison. You had a couple of bright spots. You'll be great as in your career. You're just a rookie, but
I feel like their offense has been like a networking event where it's like this person hangs out for a short period of time, and then it's a new combination.
Yep. It's been rough. Hey, at least we're not Vikings fans. But hey, they won 3-0. Congratulations. All right. So I think it's all of our favorite segments now because we've had such a great season. And hopefully Jordan is still watching. He was leaving some comments earlier. But we're doing the random tight end touchdown of the week. Doc didn't hit last week. We didn't do a 3-peat, but that's okay. The 2-peat still existed. That was amazing. So we'll start with you, Doc. You're the reigning champ, we'll say. You're the latest one to hit. So who is your random tight end touchdown of the week?
I mean, I got to continue giving a little bit obscure ones, and I feel like he's not as obscure. Jeremy Ruckert for the Jets. His 14 targets over the last 4 games, no touchdowns on the year. Miami got a little banged up yesterday with Xavier Howard. Bradley Chubb got a penalty to get him to lose the game. I'm just feeling it. I feel like you can get good odds on it. They're not out yet. But 3 out of 4 isn't bad.
You can almost say his tight end counterpart, who also hasn't scored at all this year, which is surprising, considering the volume he's seen. That's Tyler Conklin. Since week 9, he's seen 6 targets, 7 targets, 3, 5, 9, and 6. in all the games where, other than week 13 against Atlanta, if he's seen 5 targets, he's come down with at least 4 grabs. So you can also make have Conklin as the other obscure tight end. You can make a case for both Jets tight ends this week.
I want to show you guys his fantasy picture because I don't think I've seen anyone that ever has a better haircut.
Who, Rucker?
Yeah. How can you not root for the guy? Hold on. I'm going to share my screen real quick. All right. One of you guys tell me, though, while I get this ready.
All right, cool. Alex, give me your random tight end touchdown of the week while we wait for this Rucker picture.
I'm going Noah Fant. He's seen a relative amount of volume. Okay, that is a very interesting haircut.
That's so fresh.
It is.
You can't tell me you haven't seen anyone with a more professional.
He does have a very professional headshot there.
Just needs to fix his beard.
Oh, well, you look, the bottom guy on your screen, Noah Fant. You mind pulling up his stats while you're right there? Oh, never mind.
I'll pull him up for you. That's what I'm saying. He is a handsome man.
Fant's also due. He had one call back against Dallas. He's either going to have Nicholas Morrow, Shaq Leonard, or Zach Cunningham covering him. So,
yeah, Noah Fant's due for a touchdown too. I like that call. You're going against your team.
I'm very surprised he didn't have any touchdowns this season.
But I agree, Jordan. Jeremy Ruckert is a handsome man. Zach, you picking one this week?
I do have one this week. I had to bring one for the playoffs. So I did extensive research. And by extensive,
tight end.
I mean I spent a couple minutes thinking of some good matchups and then going with the not starting tight end. So that way we make it a random tight end. And we've been so excited for David Njoku with Joe Flacco, and Njoku's just been going off. They got a great schedule in the playoffs from a tight end perspective. So we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to go with Harrison Bryant, number 88 on the Browns. Has he done much? No, not really. Is there any indications that he's going to finally score a touchdown? Not even the littlest, but Flacco's slinging it. We got a good matchup. So he's going to be our random tight end touchdown of the week, Harrison Bryant.
He could have a random 3 for 47 and 3 touchdown game.
I'm not predicting a 3 touchdown game. I'll take 1.
4.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, we're now in the playoffs. This is when it gets real serious for random tight end touchdown of the week.
Oh, absolutely.
These count for double.
I like it. We'll count it for double. But with that, I can't believe we're already on to week 15. Good luck out there. Hopefully you have a bye week. In my home league, knock on wood, I got a bye week. It's so nice not having stress.
It really is.
I know. It's so nice not having stress. Don't worry, I still got Scott Fishbowl to stress about. But that's
just look at me. I'm in another league. Let me brag about it.
Yeah, name drop. Yeah, we got 2 of us in the Scott Fishbowl.
A lot of stress up here in the top 10.
Zach, we are rooting for you.
I know.
We are rooting for you to win.
Hey, put in a good word for me for Scott. We'll see. You can adjust the points
for you.
But thank you all for tuning in. If you've already been eliminated, we appreciate you watching. If you haven't been eliminated, let's keep that train rolling because we want to get you some trophies. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. And if you are here for basketball, baseball, we still got you covered here at AAA Fantasy. So that's why it's even more important to subscribe and hit that bell. But with that, we'll be here next week, getting you ready for week 16, getting you ready for the holidays. Christmas coming up real quick. So good luck, everyone, in week 15. Let's go get some wins. Let's go get some parlay hits, and we'll see y'all next week.
Good luck in the playoffs.